It's sparkling wine season, Carmela.
Isn't it always sparkling wine season, Joe?
It's true. Every season is sparkling wine season, right?
Right.
Well, and with 4th of July weekend coming up here in the good old US of A, what better way to celebrate than with some sparkling wine from America?
It's a no-brainer.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of a reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pair and partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Why did you hesitate?
I don't know. I forgot your name for a minute
I think
there.
you did. You're like, wait.
What's her name? Okay, anyway, if you are new to our podcast, here's a quick orientation. So each week, we explore a different wine varietal or blend or way of making wine, like Pinot Noir or Bordeaux or sparkling wine.
Woohoo!
And dive into what makes it unique and special and worth learning about. So our goal is to help you expand your wine knowledge in a fun way that normal people can understand. And we also taste and review 2 to 3 wines under $20 each. Mm-hmm. And we share our scores and recommendations with you to help you find great wines without breaking the bank.
Love it.
Who wants to break a bank?
No.
That's right. So thank you very much for joining us. And we are proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
chatty,
and entertaining. Are you entertained? All right, Carmela. It's been a little while since we did an episode on sparkling wine.
True.
Sort of.
Okay.
So we did do one in May when we were doing a whole bunch of episodes on Spanish wines.
Was that like a test? I feel like I was being
No.
tested.
But I'll get to it. Hold on.
Okay.
So we were preparing for this trip to Spain.
Right.
And so we did a specific episode on Cava because Cava is a great sparkling wine of Spain. And we just happened to be in Barcelona, which is the region of Spain that's considered to be the birthplace of Cava and the Pinedas.
Made sense.
And when we were in Spain, we drank a lot of Cava.
And we sure did.
We drank a lot
of
Cava.
It was delicious. So happy.
And when I say a lot of Cava, I
mean
a lot of
Cava.
But before that, Carmela, that's your name, we hadn't done an episode on sparkling wine since December.
Oh, wow.
And that's way too long.
Yeah, I agree because we drink a lot of sparkling wine.
And we kind of like it.
We love it.
No, and when we say we love sparkling wine, we love it.
We were crazy about it.
We're crazy about it.
We dream about it.
And we also, I kind of do. We also think, and when I say we, I mean I, but I think you do too, that sparkling wine is misunderstood and not well enough appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But I feel like sometimes it's also put on a pedestal.
I'm totally with you.
You know, like, wait a minute, we can't have it unless it's something really extra special.
I'm totally with you. So we'll get to that in a second, but let's get back to this underappreciated or misunderstood.
Okay.
Like me. Okay.
Boy.
First, sparkling wines.
Poor Joe.
I know. Sparkling wine comes in a very wide variety of styles and tastes, and that's because sparkling wine is not a varietal or a wine made from a particular grape. It's a way of making wine. And in fact, there are several different ways in which sparkling wine can be made. And the way in which the wine is made will impact the taste. And so, of course, will the grapes that are used, right?
Yes.
So just like our episode last week on rosé, you can't really say that you love or you don't love something like sparkling wine or rosé until we get a little bit more specific on what kind or style of sparkling wine that you like.
True.
And there's way too much information to go into here in our podcast today about all the different types and styles and everything about sparkling wine. We're not going to try to do that.
Okay.
But you know what? I do have some links in our show notes.
My goodness.
Did you know we have show notes?
I'm catching on.
Well, if you go, Carmela, to our website, which
I haven't
is
gone there yet.
I know you haven't.
But
it's the winepairpodcast.com.
Okay.
So type it into your little cell machine.
The wine pair with the wine pair.
You got to put a the in
podcast.
it. And you look for this episode and you click on it and then you look down, you scroll down to find our show notes.
Awesome.
And you click them to expand. But anyway, you can do that. You can also go back to some of our previous episodes. Like we had an episode around the holidays around Prosecco.
Ooh.
And yes, it's true that not all Proseccos are the same. And then we did an episode on German sparkling wines.
Right.
Believe it or not, they make sparkling wines in Germany, but they make them from grapes like Riesling and Müller-Thurgau, which you probably never heard of.
Not until now.
Well, you had actually heard about it, but the other people, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, another reason we think she forgets a lot. Another reason we think sparkling wine is misunderstood and not well enough appreciated, and this is exactly what you were getting at, Carmela, is that it's seen primarily as a celebration wine.
Right.
And that's her phone going off. But we always say that sparkling wine should be enjoyed any day of the week.
Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, and
live a little.
Like, why wait? And the other thing, too, that I think is underappreciated is that depending on the style of sparkling wine, it can go with a lot of food. So it can go great with
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I feel like, a lot of times we will have it like as a beginning of dinner type of drink, but we drink it with dinner all the time. Yeah.
With fried foods or spicy foods, it's great.
True.
And although a lot of sparkling wine is sold around the New Year's time frame, sparkling wine is awesome during the summer.
Oh my gosh.
And not just for weddings. We know it's served a lot at weddings and those types of celebrations, but I'm talking about like by the pool, at a cookout, hanging out with friends. Like a cold sparkling wine during the summer is so fun.
So fun. I just have to say one thing that for whatever reason, you made me think of this. At my uncle and aunt's wedding 50 plus years ago,
you weren't at.
No, I wasn't there. But it's always the story because they were married the same summer as my parents. But my uncle insisted on having only sparkling wine at his wedding. It was the only drink.
Not beer.
Nope. No beer, no wine.
Not still wine.
No.
Just sparkling wine.
It had to be only. I don't even know why, but it was the weirdest thing. Only sparkling. We're going to ask him.
I wouldn't mind that as much, but I don't think that would be everybody's cup of tea.
No.
But on that note, this is a good segue. You didn't even mean to make that segue.
No.
I do think some people are like, I don't know. I don't know if I like sparkling wine. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. And look, I think that just like we were talking about in the rosé episode or a lot of different episodes, you kind of got to look at like, what's the style, what's the type, the grapes, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So one thing I think that people should do is really consider the sweetness of the wine. And I think sometimes because a lot of cheap sparkling wine is very sweet, I think that people have a tendency to think of sparkling wine as sweet.
True.
But you can find dry sparkling wine.
That's pretty much all we drink.
That's all we drink. And it's called Brut. If you see dry on a sparkling wine bottle, it means it's actually kind of sweet. But if you see Brut, it means it's actually dry. And I know that's super confusing. And if you like sweet sparkling wines, and some people do, then you look for something like demi-sec or doux or dulce or something like that. And you can always use alcohol content as sort of a shortcut to understand if a wine is sweet or dry. If it's sweet, it's going to have a lower alcohol content. So for a sparkling wine, you get below 11%. You're in that 10% or lower. It's going to be very sweet. If it's 12% or higher, you're in the Brut range. Again, Brut means less. It means dry. It means less sugar in it.
Nice.
But today, we're really going to focus on sparkling wines made in the United States, as we said in our introduction and in the title. And we're going to do a little educating on sparkling wine production in the United States. And we have 2 sparkling wines from the United States that we're going to taste and review and let you know if you should run out and buy them so you can pop them open on the 4th of July. But,
nice.
But don't run out yet. Wait until the end of the episode.
Well, right. No, there's more to learn.
Yeah, right. Yeah. By the way, 4th of July is on a Thursday this year.
Yes.
Which I think is kind of the best day.
You know what? I just had this conversation with our daughter.
Tell me.
Well, I'm just saying, okay, can we also disclose that we have a daughter born on the 4th of July?
And we're not going to tell you what year.
No, but she was a Tuesday 4th of July baby.
That's right.
And that was a quieter, deader 4th of July. If you have a 4th of July on the Thursday, if you have it on the Thursday, you just get an automatic 4-day weekend.
Like, who doesn't take the Friday off?
Just better.
That's just dumb. If it's on a Wednesday, though?
Yeah, like, Wednesday's tough.
Or a Tuesday is no good.
Tuesday, you can almost do it, but then you have to go back on the 5th. So that's not
hard.
fun.
And that's not fun. So it's a perfect day.
Can I do say one other thing? Because she is your daughter as well. I
What?
don't know. But just
so
you all know out
Thank
there.
you for letting me know that.
Yeah. But the cutest thing was when she was little, she loved her birthday being on the 4th of July because her dad always had the day off.
Mm-hmm.
He could
That's
always
true.
be home.
That's the only thing she could. Mm-hmm. It was pretty
And
sweet.
now what does she do? She's just gone on her birthday all the time.
Yeah, we never see her. She's with
Not
friends
her
or whatever.
birthday.
Well, we're gonna talk about all that kind of stuff, Carmela. But first,
you got to do our shameless plug.
That's right. So thank you for listening to us and supporting our show. And if you haven't had the chance to do so yet, now would be a great time to subscribe or follow the podcast in whatever podcast player you listen in on. And another great way to support us is to leave a nice rating review on our website or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And when we say nice, we mean 5 stars. Somebody left a review. It wasn't 5 stars. I don't know why they would do that. Leave 5. It doesn't cost you any more to leave a 5-star review than a 4 or a 3.
It doesn't cost you any more. It doesn't cost
anything at all.
Yeah,
and it's a free way to help us grow our listeners. And don't you want to do that? I mean, I do.
We do.
Okay. You can also follow us and see pictures of the wines we're tasting and trying today, and also weird AI pictures that I love to make on Instagram at The Wine Pair Podcast. And you can contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, as we already said. You can sign up for our email newsletter there.
Woo.
You can also email us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com and tell us what you want us to talk about, because we want to make content that you care about and you like. And also,
we are for the people.
We're for the people, by the people, of the people. Ask us questions. We'll answer them on the air. All sorts of stuff. We'll just chat.
On the air. Are we on the air?
We're kind of on the air. I feel like we're on the air.
I love it.
I feel like I'm floating. Anyway.
No, I'm saying like the air. That sounds like the radio. Like, are we
That's
on
what a lot of times. Yeah,
I know.
It's kind of radio-like. A podcast is sort of radio-like.
True.
And we do distribute this podcast on a few radio stations.
I know. That's why I just kind of love that line.
That's good. Okay. So if maybe the people on the radio station are hearing us on the air.
I know. Okay.
And then, Carmela, as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair podcast to, so we can, again, keep growing our listeners. And this week, we want you to recommend us to anyone who loves fireworks and sparkly things. And/or. I would say and/or. They may not like them both.
Well, fireworks, some people are kind of, sensitive to loud noises.
Exactly.
So,
but maybe they like sparkly stuff.
Right. I mean,
we're talking about sparkling wine.
Right. Maybe they just like to watch the TV with the fireworks with the sound off.
Oh, true that. True that. Okay, so let's talk about sparkling wine in the United States, Carmela, shall we? Okay, so coming out of the pandemic, and this is from some research I found on the interwebs, sparkling wine has been a winner. And my guess is that people just want to have something fun that's easy to drink after all the crap that we went through during COVID. Am I right?
I get it.
And I
feel you.
And I think if you're talking about COVID, sparkling wine, good antidote.
For sure. For sure.
So according to one source that I have that you can find in our show notes, sparkling wine grew by double-digit percentages in 2020, 2021, and 2022.
That's amazing.
And it was growing before that. Since 2002, sparkling wine production has increased more than 50%, and it makes up 7% of all wine production worldwide.
That's incredible.
Now, the biggest producers of sparkling wine are in Europe, Carmela. Italy's number 1, France is number 2. But the U.S. is the 5th largest producer in the world and the biggest producer outside of Europe. So there you go.
Yeah, makes sense,
we do okay.
I think.
Now, since 2008, U.S. sparkling wine production has increased by about 4% per year. And the area producing the most sparkling wine is California.
Figured.
And specifically Napa, California. And it makes up 77% of the total sparkling wine made in the U.S.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's huge.
That's a lot. Now, the U.S. does import more sparkling wine that we make, and we're the 3rd largest consumers of sparkling wine.
Wow, who's before us?
I don't know, but Germany is the number 1.
Okay, wow.
I think so. Okay. And that amount has doubled since the 1970s. So the Americans, we like our bubbly. We like bubbly.
I think that's fabulous that we have really taken to it strongly, even more so in recent years.
Yeah. Well, we like fun. We like fun stuff.
Right.
Come on. Right. I like
Lots of reasons to celebrate.
That's right. Now, when it comes to making sparkling wine, Carmela, what's interesting is that with most American sparkling being made in California, the techniques and approaches are a little bit different from those in the Champagne region of France. Why, you ask?
Why, Joe? Why are they different from the techniques that happen in France?
Well, one thing is that most of the time that's similar is that U.S. sparkling wine is made in the méthode champenoise, the champagne style. And there are several French champagne houses that make sparkling wine in California, like Moet and Roederer. There are French champagne houses that have started making them in the United States as well. But here's one difference. the wine area of Champagne is a much cooler climate area than California. In fact, the latitude of California is closer to southern Spain than it is to France.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things that happens is that sparkling wine grapes have to be harvested earlier in California than they do in France. So they don't become too ripe.
I get it.
And here's something else that's new that I didn't know, Carmela, and you're going to laugh at this one. And it's kind of an asterisk on our episode last week on rosé wine.
Okay.
Rosé sparkling wine is actually made by blending red wine and white wine.
What?
They are, the red grape and white grape varieties are blended together to make a rosé sparkling wine.
Only a sparkling.
Yeah, so you wouldn't do that in a rosé still wine.
That is hilarious.
But and
we're trying to debunk that whole idea.
Exactly, because rosé still wines are made only from red wine grapes.
Right.
But a sparkling rosé is
Why
made.
Why is that?
It's just the style. It's just the way that they make them. I think some of it has to do with traditionally champagne is made from a blend of red wine grapes and white wine grapes. So I think what they do is they just use similar grapes, but they have skin contact on the red wine grapes.
Okay.
So there you go.
Interesting.
Now, the French in Champagne, the Champagne region, I mean, for a long time, they didn't look very highly on rosé sparkling wine. Sometimes they called it champagne for prostitutes.
What?
Yes, it's
Why?
true. But in California and the United States, we love it. We dig it.
I just can't. That is weird.
They're getting around to it right now. But in the United States, 15% of all the sparkling wine we consume is rosé sparkling wine.
Wow.
Versus less than 10% in the rest of the world. So we like it. Maybe it's champagne for prostitutes, but we like it.
I'm still not understanding where that comes from. Why?
I think they just thought it was kind of like a
slutty drink.
I don't know. I just think it was kind of like, I don't know, it was snobby. They were snobby, like, oh, we don't make the rosé. Because they're already making this beautiful clear or white sparkling wine from red wine grapes and white wine grapes.
Are we going to do an episode on sparkling rosé?
Well, we have in the past, and we may again.
Okay, well, we're going to cut that out then.
Yes. So, now, fun fact, Carmela, fun fact.
Okay, give it to me.
Most sparkling rosé is made from Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And so for you out there listening, you can wow your friends the next time you see them by letting them know that.
They will be so impressed.
Yes, it's true. A few other things about American sparkling wines that makes them great is usually they're less expensive than things like champagne. And some of our favorite ones that we've had in the past are reasonably priced, like Piper Sonoma and Gruet. And the other thing that's great about them is sparkling wines made in the U.S., again, are made in the champagne style. So you can get a less expensive sparkling wine that's made in a better way, I would argue a better way than wines like Prosecco, for about the same price as this Prosecco.
Right.
So there you go. And so that's why we're talking about sparkling wines right now before the 4th of July. So again, great summer wines. They're great celebration wines, but they're also great cookout wines and hangout wines. Like, they're fun.
They're super versatile.
You bring a sparkling wine somewhere, people are going to go, awesome.
Well, and you know what? It is such a great hostess gift or host gift. It's a great party favor. I mean, like, there's just so many reasons to use them at celebrations anyway. But to give one, I mean, like, that's a lot of times what we do. Like, when we go places, it's nice to give a bottle of wine. And if it's a sparkling, I think it makes people like, oh, wow.
So this is what I say. Instead of bringing that 6-pack or whatever over...
6-pack?
Well, you know, like
who brings a 6-pack anymore?
Okay, a 12-pack, a half rack of beer.
Yeah.
Bring some sparkling wine and people will go,
that person's got class.
That couple, they're awesome. We love them.
Oh, so very awesome.
Okay, so on that note, I think it's time to learn a little bit more about the specific wines we're drinking today, because maybe you want to bring one of these, if we like them, to your next party.
Maybe, or maybe next week at your 4th of July bash.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So as usual, the wines we've chosen for this episode are under $20 each, and both of them should be relatively easy to find because I bought them all on wine.com, or bought them both. How about that? I will say that both of these wines were on sale when I bought them.
Okay.
So that's what helped them be $20 or less.
Okay, so typically
sometimes
over 20?
they're a little more, but right now they're on sale, and you can find them if you can find them on sale there, you can find them on sale in other places. And then one of the wines is by a producer that you should have zero trouble finding. Like, this is a producer you should find all over the place.
Okay.
And then both of these sparkling wines have had good reviews from professional reviewers that are not James Suckling. So that's a good thing.
That is.
And if you don't know, we hate James Suckling. No, we don't hate him. We don't
even
trust
know
him.
the
No,
guy, Joe.
I don't like him, but we don't trust him.
So wait.
Okay.
Not liking him and not trusting. I think they're kind of different.
I don't know. Do you like people you don't trust?
No, but the reason we don't trust him is we think that he just gives this wine
90
the
ratings
same
to
rating.
everything. Yeah,
That doesn't mean we don't like the guy.
I don't know. James, if you're out there,
give him
let's
a little
have
bit of a
chat.
break.
Okay, so the first wine we're going to try today, again, comes from a pretty well-known U.S. producer called Decoy. And again, you can find their wines all over the place. And by the way, Decoy is owned by a larger brand called Duckhorn Wines.
No way.
Yes, that's right. And the wine we're having today is called Decoy Brut Cuvee, and it's made from a pretty traditional blend of grapes that you would find in a champagne.
Okay.
It's 49% Pinot Noir, 47% Chardonnay, and 4% Pinot Meunier. And the wine is made, as I said, in the Méthode Champenoise, but it's evidently dosaged with French oak, barrel-fermented Napa Valley Chardonnay.
Fancy.
So that seems a little unique to me, and I don't think that's very champagne-like. And by the way, it's another California winery like we had last week who just can't help themselves from adding
things in oak.
Chardonnay.
So let's just
like
see what we think.
I
Yeah.
don't know. This is the deal. Anyway, as it says in the name, it's a Brut sparkling, which again means that it's dry, and the winery indicates that it has 7 grams of residual sugar per liter, so that fits. But there's not a lot else I can tell you about that wine, so let's talk about the next one.
What's the alcohol level? Did you say it?
I did not say the alcohol level on this one is 12.5%. So it's dry. It's dry. It's a good question. The next wine is called Paula Kornell California Brut, and it's made from 80% Chardonnay and 20% Pinot Noir. That's pretty similar to what the blends you might find in a champagne and pretty typical for a California sparkling. Now, this wine has gotten a ton of accolades. It was number 5 on the Wine Enthusiast Top 100 of 2020.
Wow, nice.
And the first release of this wine was 2020. So if this is a good wine, this is one you're going to want to run and find.
Okay.
It's also made in the Méthode Champenoise. It's also Brut, as the name says. It's got 6.5 grams of residual sugar, so just a little bit lower. And the winery says their grapes come from certified sustainable vineyards in some of the coolest growing regions around California. So if certified sustainable and those types of things are important to you, this is a good wine to seek out. And I do like the way the winery describes their wine because it fits with our theme in this episode, which, enjoying sparkling wine during the summer. Anyway, they say this: ideal for a Sunday afternoon in the garden, a weekend picnic, or at the beginning of a meal, this approachable and highly drinkable wine will satisfy all tastes.
I love it because it wasn't really talking about a celebration. It was just like
No.
the enjoyment of life.
Just
break it out.
Yeah, exactly. Now, these guys do make a higher end sparkling wine called the Napa Valley Blanc de Noir, which has a vintage on it, which is unusual for sparkling wines. Most of the time, sparkling wines do not have a date on them, right? Like a year. And one interesting thing about their Blanc de Noir is that it's made from Pinot Noir, but also 30% Chardonnay, which is unusual. I don't think a Blanc de Noir usually is made with any white wine grapes. I think it's usually made with red wine grapes, but I digress. Anyway, so that's enough information. Let's get to drinking, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And if you have a sparkling wine on hand and you want to drink along with us to get participation points,
Wow.
go for it.
Let's do it.
Okie dokie, we're back. I don't know why I said that.
Okie dokie.
And we're going to try our first wine. This is the Decoy Brut Cuvee from California. It's a non-vintage, as most sparkling wines are. $16.99 at wine.com. Again, I got it on sale. 12.5% alcohol. It is 49% Pinot Noir, 47% Chardonnay, and 4% Pinot Meunier. And it got a 92 from Wilfred Wong from wine.com and a 90 from Wine Spectator. But Carmela, she always coughs when she smells sparkling wine. But what are you smelling?
I like it. I think it's definitely has apple on it. It's a bit creamy to me.
I feel like it's got spice on it.
Like a baking spice. Yeah, I was just going to say kind of like an apple turnover or an apple pastry with like a little, like an apple pie with cinnamon or apple crumb.
I hate to say it. Maybe it's just in my head. But I feel like I can smell a little bit of like vanilla from oak.
For sure. I have vanilla that I wrote down. I guess I didn't say it yet, but Yeah, I'm getting that too.
But I think that's the oakiness.
Yeah,
because they said they
probably.
had oaked Chardonnay in it. So that's my guess.
Yeah, it has a nice bouquet on
bouquet.
it. Yeah, for sure. We'll see.
It's pretty in the glass.
It is.
Got
It's dark.
very, very fine bubbles.
Yeah, it's a very pretty glass of sparkling
wine.
We'll
let's
see
try
what we think, because it's very fragrant in a nice way.
It's spicy.
It is spicy.
Baking
Spicy.
baking spices for sure.
I'm getting apple too. Like it feels again. It's like an apple or pear turnover.
Yeah, there's something bready on it. I do kind of feel like taste a little bit of that wood and vanilla. I think it's got. I think if this were, if you have a oaky Chardonnay lover and they're not so sure about sparkling wine, I think they would love this wine.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like this would be a good one to give a Chardonnay lover and enjoy it with them. For you and me who aren't huge Chardonnay fans, this is a nice sparkling with a little bit of an emphasis on Chardonnay or influenced by Chardonnay.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think you're right. I'm getting that creaminess. It's got a really rich mouthfeel. And I'm kind of feeling like the way that it's flavored is, because it's not super sweet.
No.
It's pretty dry. I think it would be really good with food.
For sure. What would you pair with it?
I mean, again, spicy foods, like spicy Asian foods, General Tso's chicken, spicy teriyaki, Thai food, Indian food, spicy Indian food,
nice,
especially like those types of spices, those sort of like savory and sweet spices would be really good. I think this is really good with
What
food.
about, because we were talking a little bit about 4th of July. What kinds of things on the 4th of July?
Oh.
Foods that you would have with this?
I mean, you could have, I kind of feel like you could do burgers and dogs with this thing.
I kind of think so too.
It's pretty versatile.
But even with something salty, like potato chips or pretzels or, this could be a fun, you're on the beach or in somebody's backyard and you're having some munchies along with it.
Totally. It would be great with salty foods. I also think it would be great, if you're on the beach or whatever and you're having shrimp or clams or oysters or something like
sophisticated.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. This is reminding me a little bit of the cava that we had at Recoredo because one of their cavas was quite rich and had kind of more of these richer flavors to it. Sometimes a sparkling wine can be really dry and kind of fruity and fly away. And this one has more depth to it.
I would agree. A
So
little
it's
more
kind of-
mouthfeel, a little more body.
It's kind of growing on me. Initially, I was like, I'm not sure if I like it, but it's kind of growing on me.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty tasty. It is flavorful. It's not as light. It's definitely it's almost like, what do you say when it's kind of thick?
Unctuous or viscous.
Yes. It does have a little bit of it's a little bit more of a meal.
It's got bitterness on the end too. It has a pithy bitterness. And again, I think this is from the wood and oak. Okay, we're going to rate this wine. And as a reminder on our rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10, and we only use whole numbers. We don't give halvesies. And a 7 or above means that we're going to buy it. And a 4 below means we're going to pour it down the sink. And a 5 or a 6 means we're going to drink it and we'll finish it, but we're probably not going to buy it.
Okay.
So what rating would you give this wine?
I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay, why a 7 and not an 8?
Because I am just right now needing to, I think again, like you said, it's kind of growing on you. I think I definitely would buy it. It's a little bit heavier for me.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the only thing. It's the only thing that makes me go, I wouldn't be, this isn't like one of those easy drinking ones for me.
It's not as easy drinking. To me, it's actually a little bit more serious.
Right, I agree.
Of a sparkling wine. This is one you could have through a meal.
Yes.
So I agree. I think it would be again, if you have a Chardonnay, like an oaky Chardonnay lover, or even I think somebody who likes richer red wines, I think they might really like this one.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, and yes, and because we're enjoying it without necessarily gravitating towards those type of wines, that I think it would be fun to share this with some people that we know that really enjoy Chardonnay.
I agree.
This would be a good one.
I agree. Okay, so we're going to take a break and we're going to try.
Wait, did you rate? What did you give it?
7. Sorry, you're right.
Okay.
I'm giving it a 7 as well. I was like, do I give it an 8? I'm like, I don't know that I would typically buy this versus other sparkling wines, but I do like it. It's interesting. It feels more serious to me than a normal, like a lot of the sparkling wines that we would have on a Tuesday. Right. So I think it's kind of a sophisticated option.
If you want it on a Tuesday,
have it.
You know what? Don't
worry about it.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool.
Never worry about popping open a sparkling.
No, a sparkling.
A sparkling.
Okay, we're going to take a break and we're going to try our last wine.
Okay.
Okay, we are back and we're ready to try our second wine. This is the Paula Kornell California Brut. And one thing we'll say right off the bat, really interesting when we poured it, it's frothy. Like it had a head on it for a while.
Looked like a beer.
And even still, it's got like a lot of bubbles that are kind of like hanging on the top. Oh boy, she's coughing again, ladies and gentlemen. But it's very bubbly, very, very bubbly. Okay, this is from California. It's non-vintage as well. $19.99. I got it on sale at wine.com. 12% alcohol, 80% Chardonnay, 20% Pinot Noir. And this one got a 94 from Wine Enthusiast. Again, it was their number 5 wine of 2020. The tasting panel gave it a 92, and Wine Spectator gave it an 89. But what are you smelling, Carmela?
Okay, I want you to give it some smells.
It's got a little bit earthiness to it. Yeah. I would say it's giving me a peach vibe.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting, kind of a peach vibe.
Yeah. Almost like peach skin. When I first smelled it, I think it was so freshly poured. It was a little off-putting. The earthiness came out, the vegetable-y earthiness came out. But now I'm warming up to it. But it does have kind of a...
It's very much like leaves, like the leaves of a tree, like peach tree leaves. How about that? Sometimes they talk about bramble, but I almost feel like it's more like tree leaf.
Something else, though.
I'm getting pear and spice on it now that it's kind of settling down on the glass. Pear, not apple, but pear.
Yeah, and I don't think it needs a good swirl. Like swirling it, I think kind of disrupts sort of the fruit that you can smell on it.
It's spicy though. I'm getting clove. This reminds me also of the cavas we were having at Recoredo, where had a really strong smell of clove to me.
I cannot really put my finger on anything that there's something on it that I'm really smelling.
Baking spice, like a baking spice or an herb.
Oh, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like basil almost.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
is
like
it some sort of herb?
Herby, like that.
Well, let's try it. Oh, it's super clovey to me. I've had this reminds me of, it's weird, the two wines we're having today remind me of the cavas that we had at Recoredo, but this one is spicy. It's very spicy. It's cinnamon and clove. That's what I'm getting. It's, what it's reminding me of? Like a spiced apple cider.
But you know what? I'm getting a little bit of lime on it too.
Okay.
A little bit of citrus. Okay. A little bit of citrus, a little tartness. I'm getting the baking spices, but it's pretty refreshing.
Yeah. But it's spicy. It's spicy. It's more spicy than sweet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put my finger on it.
I really like it. I think
lime.
It's quite...
I'm getting a little. Try it again. See if you get that lime. Right. It's frothy too.
Yeah, I'm getting citrus. I'm almost getting grapefruit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And if I'm getting lime, it's like, it's lime, but it's like the lime juice that you squeeze out of the bottle. Like it's
a little artificial.
No, it's just bitter. It's bitterness. That's why I was going grapefruit.
Grapefruit. I almost think it's like not necessarily the rind, but like the pith.
Yeah, the white part.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. I don't know that everybody likes that flavor, that taste. I really like it. I agree. I think it's very refreshing. I think on a hot day, it would be awesome. And
definitely different, like not creamy vanilla like that first one.
It like this one is more of what I'm used to, I think, with a sparkling wine. It doesn't have the body. The Decoy had a lot more body to it. This one is a little bit more like just crisp and clean.
Right. And this one would be equally as good, but in a different complement to like a spicy food or in fried food. Like this, you could do fish and chips with this really nicely.
Garlic fries.
Yeah, fries would be good
at the baseball game.
Totally. Yeah,
really good. What any other foods? I think all the foods that we said previously: fried foods, spicy foods, Asian foods.
Yeah, bread. I mean, like you could do pizza, focaccia. It could be definitely like a charcuterie early evening wine, sparkling. sparkling for sure.
I agree. What rating would you give this wine?
So you know what? I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I'm tempted to give it an 8.
Oh.
I think I'm going to give it an 8.
I'm tempted to give it a 9.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's quite good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's got a lot of crispiness and crunchiness to it.
I think I'm being hard on
I
these
think you
wines.
are too. I am actually going to give it a 9. I really like it. I think it's quite a good wine. Like, I find it a little bit not just refreshing, but also sophisticated in a different way than the Decoy. I think this is like a little bit more contemplating kind of wine to it. I think it's really good.
Well, I do think this is absolutely more our style than the other one.
For sure. I think that's part of it too.
And we could drink this from beginning to end on a meal.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Very nice.
Okay. Which of these are you finishing tonight?
Oh,
Kornell?
I'm definitely going back to sticking with, the Kornell.
With Paula. We're going with Paula.
We're like Paula.
We're all about Paula.
Woo.
We're sticking with you, Paula.
Are you doing the same?
I'm going with Paula.
Yes.
I'm going with Paula.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about the taste profiles expected from sparkling wine. Now,
I'm excited to... Okay, keep going.
No, it's fine. You're excited. You want to hear.
I do. I can't wait.
Okay, so a typical champagne, and I'm only using that because these are méthode champenoise and also because they're using similar grapes. So typical flavors would be fresh apple, pear, tropical notes, mineral undertones, brioche, toast, citrus, strawberry, cream, vanilla, yeast. We've got a lot of those.
A lot of them, yeah.
So the Decoy, the winery says layers of baked apple, white peach, and orange zest, as well as aromatic hints of honeysuckle and vanilla.
Oh.
On the palate, delicate sweetness is perfectly balanced by bright acidity.
Okay.
I think it was as bright. Wilfred Wong says bitingly refreshing, brings green apple flavors and a hint of minerality to its aromas and flavors. And Wine Spectator said brisk and vibrant, yet layered with rich baked apple, brioche, and spice flavors that linger on a long, luscious finish.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with a lot of them.
Yeah. They didn't talk about vanilla. I mean, I guess they had vanilla. No. I take that back. The winery said.
Yeah. And I think we talked a lot about like apple pie, apple
and peach.
turnover.
Didn't I say peach? Okay. The Paula Kornell California Brut, the winery says, its racy acidity makes the wine lively and refreshing. Aromas of lemon pith, fresh peaches, just ripe apricots, toast, acacia, and honeysuckle.
Okay.
Wine Enthusiast says, a beautiful jasmine aroma leads to marzipan, peach, and cherry flavors. I didn't get...
Oh my gosh.
Marzipan.
Marzipan, I did not. That's
the cherry?
almondy. Cherry, I had a hint of cherry, and I actually kind of nixed it because I was like, wait, I might be making that up, and I should have just gone with it.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know
that.
why. I mean, I should have said it if I had thought it, right?
I like that.
Okay.
Okay, the tasting panel says zingy aromas of toast, orchard fruit, and honey encounter flavors of still ripening stone fruit, mid-palate stoniness, and back-end hints of lemon meringue and lemongrass. I like that. Meringue.
Lemon meringue is a good one.
Wine Spectator says expressive and vivacious, showing pretty apple and lime flavors, laced with notes of vanilla and spices before finishing on a zesty accent. So there you go.
Nice.
I mean, come on. Do we need to say it again? Sparkling wine, summer, 4th of July.
So much fun.
Tuesday, Thursday, whatever.
Morning,
go for it.
Noon, okay, maybe not.
Morning, noon, or night.
Okay.
Mimosas.
Totally.
You know what? You know what I would do? I would do a mimosa without the orange juice.
Wait.
How about that?
Then that's not really a mimosa.
No, it's just sparkling wine. But
okay.
I prefer that. I actually don't like a mimosa.
Ooh, I like a mimosa. I prefer just the sparkling.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll have it.
Okay. All right, Carmela, it's time for us to go. But before we do, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. And if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and subscribe and follow and leave us a nice rating and review. 5 stars if you wouldn't mind on our website or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you do that kind of thing. And we would love to hear from you and tell us about a wine you want us to taste and review or a style or a varietal or anything like that. So you can leave a message for us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, and you can join our email newsletter there. And we're going to send out a newsletter on the 1st of July. So if you miss it for any reason, send me a note at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com and I will send it to you. And you can also...
Personally.
I will.
I know you.
And you can also just tell us stuff. Tell us stuff you want to hear and listen to. And we want to make content that you care about. So let us know. And with that, we're going to sign off. So we want to say thank you once again. And we'll see you next time. And as we say, life is short. So stop drinking shitty wine. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.